Welcome back, everybody. So this new chapter will be talking about religious experience. So, what is religious experience? Well, that refers to one's inner events, feelings, as well as emotions that express or represent one's unique relationship to the holy. And when we talk about religious experience, what we'll essentially be doing is talking about epistemology of religious experience. So, a lot of people wonder, what is epistemology of religious experience? That's when we look at and examine the relationship between religious experience and claims about the ultimate, and whether these experiences yield claims about the truth of religious beliefs. And a good way to think about epistemology, in a nutshell, what that refers to is, how do you know what you know? So with that in mind, how do you know what you know about religion? And these can chiefly be categorized as voices, visions in the prophetic call, enlightenment, and mystical experiences. So these are the three main ways that we know what we know about religion, or the three main epistemologies of religious experience. So we're going to go through and touch upon each one. Now, for the first one, visions, voices, and the prophetic call, this is often referred to as commissioning experience. This is a supernatural encounter that calls a person to special service to God. And the visuals here depict three classic examples in Islam, Christianity, as well as Judaism. So the top one, this is from Judaism, Moses and the burning bush. A lot of people are familiar with the story of Moses and the burning bush. Moses was tending to his flock and was out there in the desert and was attracted to a bush that was on fire, that was burning, but yet not being consumed by the fire. So this in turn drew him closer, and then the word of God was sounded to Moses through this experience. And this is when Moses was called to become a prophet and go down into Egypt and tell the Pharaoh to let my people go. Now, what's interesting, when this first happened to Moses, he was hesitant, very uncertain about whether or not he should embrace the call, and after a little initial wavering, he accepted the call. Now, the bottom visual, this is a painting of the Annunciation and the Virgin Mary. This is one of the core beliefs in Christianity, is that Mary was a virgin, and then the angel Gabriel appeared unto her to let her know that she was to be the vessel and give birth to the Messiah, Jesus. And just like Moses, after a little bit of, puzzlement, the Virgin Mary said, okay. And then the visual to the right, this is a representation of the calling of the Prophet Muhammad. The Prophet Muhammad one day went up into the mountains, into a cave, and he was in that cave and he was praying and meditating, praying to God, and then the angel Gabriel appeared unto the Prophet Muhammad. And in case you're wondering if that's the same angel Gabriel that appeared unto the Virgin Mary, the answer is yes. And then the angel Gabriel delivered the Quran to the Prophet Muhammad and told him to take it and deliver the word to the people. And just as with the others, the Prophet Muhammad went through a little bit of indecision before he as well accepted this commissioning. So this is one way of knowing what you know about the holy. And again, this is the prophetic call. Can happen through a vision, through voice, a commissioning experience. Now, this next slide is entitled Enlightenment. Now, this refers to sages, not prophets. Reason being, if you remember from what a sage is a wise person. And a sage goes unto the people and delivers a message that he or she has come up with on his or her own. Now the difference, the previous slide with prophets, those are ordinary human beings like sages, but the idea, the word comes from God. So this is very different. Now, the best way to think about enlightenment, it's like in math class. When you're struggling with all of these different algebraic formulas and equations and problems, until one day, guess what happens? That's right, you have the aha moment. And then suddenly, you're able to do all of those math problems without error in a very short time. The moment of enlightenment yields a new knowledge and a new vision. But in terms of religion, it's different than solving math problems. It's a new knowledge, a new vision regarding life and how to live a good life. So, we're going to pick up a couple terms here that will connect to visions, voices, and the prophetic call, as well as enlightenment. The first one is ecstatic. That is a deeper experience inside oneself, absorbed by one's own contemplation. And then the second is ecstatic. An ecstatic event is a deeper experience outside of oneself and being absorbed in the presence of a sacred power. Now, to connect these to our topic here about epistemology of religious experience, for enlightenment, that would be enstatic. E-N-S-T-A-T-I-C. Enstatic. In other words, what the Buddha experienced was an event inside himself, and he was absorbed by his own contemplation. Now this is different than ecstatic, E-S-T-A-T-I-C, event. Those are experiences and events outside of oneself and being absorbed in the presence of a sacred power. So an ecstatic event, the examples there were from the previous slide. Moses and the burning bush, the Annunciation and the Virgin Mary, and the calling of the Prophet Muhammad. So these two different terms here, you can expect to see them on upcoming tests and be able to pick out different examples, enstatic as well as ecstatic. And I see that we are nearing the 10-minute mark, so we'll pick up on the next slide and continue our discussion of religious experience.